how you perform under stress is the only way the world is going to judge you. Even your children and spouse are going to judge you by how you reacted when they got into trouble. Did you scream at them? Did you say, I told you not to do so, right? Because largely it is your fault because you have not communicated well. Like if you have not told your children about some of the risks and some of the dangers and they have done something, don't look at it as their failure only. It is your failure also that you did not communicate properly. For example, there will always be clients, if you're an advisor, who will pretend that they're talking to you, that they're understanding what they're doing, and then they go and buy some absolutely lousy product. And the client will then pretend as though you never said it or they forgot about it, because when you are just generally talking and saying, oh, your lips are not very good, etc., then they will not pay attention. But suddenly when a banker comes and says, oh, this is fantastic, this will give you 28,000 per month for retirement, or make it 1,28,000 per month, whatever, then they get carried away and they believe that number and they go and buy the product. So the question is, have you communicated well? That is the question that you have to ask, and you have to be prepared for failure. You have to know what happens when things go wrong. For example, I found an army man who was a very good cyclist, and he said for a very long time he'd been a very good motorcyclist, because in the army he was trained how to fall off a bike. That's very important, right? If you see some danger, you have to be able to give up the bike and jump, because jumping from the bike will not kill you, right? You're jumping from 4 feet or 5 feet. It's not really a very great height that you have to worry. What happens is, when you're trying to fall off a bicycle or a motorcycle, you are not thinking like that. You're thinking in terms of holding on tight. When you see danger, you hold on tighter to your vehicle, and the vehicle falls on you and you break a leg, right? That is not how you react. So when these army men do stunts on motorbikes and you see it, they have been taught one amazing thing: how to fall off a bike, how to handle, which is exactly what I'm saying, is how to handle tough situations. Nobody is going to remember you in your good days. How did you react? Did you put your hand around your kids and say, don't worry, mistakes happen, I too have made, I have failed an exam, that kind of a thing, rather than saying, I told you, you didn't study properly, etc. That's not the way, and that is exactly how we judge companies too. How good is the response time? How bad is the response time? Based on all that. Or if you call up for help, do they give you help or do they just disappear? For example, GoAir, I booked a ticket and they just cancel the flight without telling me, or they change the timing without telling me, and they have not responded to my complaints. Of course, thanks to my card, I got the full refund. That's a different thing, but I will always remember it and I will talk about it at various places, right? So you don't remember an airline just because every time they went on time, but you remember them, how they behaved with you when things were bad, when things were down. Did they take care of you properly? Were they polite? Did they solve your problems? Maybe it's a 2-hour delay, or maybe it's a 10-hour delay because of fog in North India. These kind of things happen. It is not the airline's fault. The question is, how do they react to it? How do they help you, and what do they do with you? So recently, if you see, Franklin Templeton went through a bad phase. So how was Franklin Templeton performing during good times? That's a different thing. How is it performing now? That's a different thing. How did they react to you, to the circumstances, to the crisis when it happened? That is what you're asking for, right? So what happened? They said, oh, because of COVID, we got into trouble. Maybe they did, but then there are other 42 funds which did not get into trouble because of COVID. Maybe they had some better strategy, right? That's what I would look at and say, oh, maybe they had better strategy. You didn't know how to manage a COVID crisis because COVID crisis had just started in March. You couldn't have felt the heat in April itself. Maybe there is some other reason which I don't know, but I will live with the fact that I don't know the reasons, right? So any product or any service that you buy is good only till the day that it does not fail. I do not expect my tube light to fail. I do not expect my internet connection to fail. I do not expect my mobile phone to fail. Can you imagine what happens? You land in a new place, you don't have anybody's number, and your mobile phone just folds up, right? It doesn't work. So you're going to remember that brand for the rest of your life, saying, I will not buy this phone again, right? That's what will happen. So the question to ask is, do they take the blame? Does the fund come and tell you, sorry, we made a strategic mistake. This strategy would have worked only for the HNI customer who's putting 2 crores each, and not for the Siliguri based school teacher who's putting 5,000 rupees. Maybe this strategy we should not have done for ultra short bond fund. Maybe they will tell you later on after the fund is redeemed or something like that. But right now they're saying, oh, because of COVID we had this problem. But luckily for them, today in December the situation is much better. So the question you're asking is, did they communicate with you? Did they tell you what is happening? Did they tell you how much will be the loss? Or are they saying they don't know, they will have to go to the market and find out, which may be true. I'm not even saying it's not true. But you will judge the fund house by how did they handle the crisis when it happened, right? Even from a financial standpoint, they show only when there is a fundamental change in how it acts. Now, one of the best things that could happen to Franklin Templeton is, now when the interest rates are going to go up or already gone up yesterday, the least hit will be taken by ultra short bond fund, because about whatever the money is lying in a 3% bond, in a very ultra short bond, and or I would say super ultra short, because it's almost cash, right? So that impact will be felt by other ultra short bond funds, but it will not be felt by the Franklin Templeton short bond. But that's luck, right? So then what do? Do they keep persisting under the old business model, the same distribution? Did they understand the distribution risk? Did they understand that when you get too much money from one distributor, which could be a bank, it could be a national distributor, or it would be a bunch of IFAs, right, or MFDs, right? At least the GameStop has told you that people could act in concert, right? So are those things worrying them, right? Do they still hold the old business model? Do they fire staff? Have they done anything? What else have they done? Are fund manager bonuses being checked? You need to know all that, and you may or may not know that, but it may not really matter, because your funds are being managed by a company, and the people that you're talking about are individuals. So the company takes a call whether they want to save on rent or salaries or bonus, or they may also realize that if they don't pay bonus, they will have the team will disappear. So how do they react to that, right? And also the leadership is exposed during these times when times are really tough. Do they hide from the public sight, or are they willing to come and talk to you regularly? And I think the communication has been very good. They have been talking to people. There have been, I think, emails every 15 days telling you how much money has been recovered. So that portion is definitely good. Are they trying to defend anything? I don't think they're trying to defend too many things, but are they well prepared for a crisis like this? I really don't know, but they've done a reasonable job of handling the crisis. If you were to name leaders in how this was handled, would you talk about the company which got into trouble, or is there a lot to be desired? Maybe some communication, there is something to be desired, and largely it's also important that the company realizes, and I'm sure the company must be realizing, that till they pay money, nobody will believe them, and after they pay money, everybody will believe them and not the other doomsdayers who are saying 15 lakh crores is at threat and things like that. So the question is, how do they handle it, and how you react to the whole way, how they have handled, because there is something which they can't tell you. They don't know how much will be the loss of in case of some sticky assets. They know how much they will get from, say, a PNB or a Shriram Transport, but they may not know how much they're going to get from some other company which perhaps could be in trouble. We do not know all those things. How well do they communicate, or do they not communicate at all? That could be another strategy. Are they doing that, not communicating at all, as a strategy? We don't know. The question is, are you happy with the way they have reacted? And I am reasonably happy. I have still invested in their debt funds and equity funds, and I would happily recommend it. I would not say do not invest in Franklin Templeton because of what happened. I would take it as a one-off incident, and I wouldn't be too much worried. Hopefully tomorrow will be a better day. Thank you.